as soon as we're rolling. Alright, hi guys, if y'all can hear me, it looks like we're still rolling and streaming. As soon as I can see if we're rolling here, I'll attempt to roll out the last bit of the Black Rose for Takhisis segment. Last night I went ahead and wrote up the rest of it. This is probably going to be the last gas for the Twitter bit for a little while, if I can get it to work. Okay guys, hold on just a second and let me get us up and running here, and hopefully we'll get everything rolling here. Let me get my secondary monitors to see if we're broadcasting here. Okay. And I'm hoping that thing will run out on audio. I hope I don't have to start it again, but if I do, it's okay. Okay, guys. We're rolling. Looks like it. Okay, we got secondary monitors up. We are ready to rock and roll. Okay. I can see me. You can see I. Okay, guys. Let's roll over here and let's see if we can get this damn thing to play out. All right, we're going to read it. Yeah.
One of the possible endings to this story, after Raistlin and Tasselhoff successfully closed the Black Rift within Crintspace, returning finally to the prime material with a final engagement with Strahd von Zarovich, who begrudgingly, and we don't say this lightly, agrees to end the madness after Fizban and Takhisis brokered with the High Elder God and asked for Sotha's final absolution after the ordeal in Sigil. Raistlin tells Strahd he is beaten, but will allow him to retain his dignity and remain master of Barovia forevermore, if to his chagrin he is forced to ask Takhisis to grant Strahd the peace of eternal sleep in darkness. He will remain forever in Barovia as a Dark Lord of Ravenloft, as after all Barovia must have a master. DM's note: Strahd turns into a giant looming monument after this to rival the original gates of Barovia with the tagline, "The Devil Strahd forever sleeps within. The earth of this land and none dare to contest this." The constellation of Takhisis returns to the skies. "Where are we?" Kitiara asked Raistlin. "This place looks so familiar, but not quite real. But they're real? I don't recognize these people as having lived in Solace. The inn of the last home was burned down, but here, it's as beautiful as it ever was, but it has a somberness to it." Kitiara looked down into the Valenwoods as eerily lit fireflies with a blue hue settled among the lights and campfires of people in elaborate covered wagons on the ground. She looked back up at the sky and noticed something odd about it. The black and red moon, along with a strange orbiting blue star in the western sky. Strangely, the Queen of Darkness constellation shone prominently, but the air was not malevolent, it was almost wistful and somewhat romantic. "It's part of the world I remember," Raistlin replied. "Here in the realm of eternal twilight, I made a sanctuary in Sithicus for weary souls. Those folk are called the Vistani. They tired of Strahd's infesting sickness and knew Sotha's presence here would inevitably lead to their demise. We have reached a mutual agreement. Strahd sleeps eternally, a gift from my Dark Queen. In exchange the balance is restored and the realm of dread and its denizens no longer compromise my queen." "Fitting." Kitiara's crooked smile again. "You, my sister, as I once was, are now two halves of a whole. Your phylactery and the memory stone an incarnation of myself had left in Sigil, it's how I reclaimed you. They took a little out of you, so to speak, after you died, as you lay in the gateway to hell as Soth paused to open the gates of his keep with a command." Raistlin smirked. "I bargained and won back the other half of you that had been left tucked away in Sithicus' heart, the black rose onyx, which contained your soul and memory, long after your corporeal form had withered away upon death in the physical world. Tanis saw a version of you being dragged away as only he was meant to see by Soth, a last indignity as a message from the angered, and jealous, spiteful queen who could not bear to let his liar fealty to her go unpunished. Cut to a dying Kitiara at the end of Legends. Right before she dies, Kitiara hallucinates and begs Tanis not to let Soths take her." Kitiara winced and Raistlin watched the other side of her face slightly transition to the skull visage as she smirked at him, a result of her partial undead status. "Hiddekel offered me a way out. So I took it. He said all of me didn't have to go with Soth. What little left of a soul you had to save, you asked the island Kender to bargain with the fiend." DMS note: Tindaphalus, the powerful illusionist who created the memory mirrors in order to win his freedom from Lord Soth. This of course is the fiend, and the illusionist is one of his avatars. Unbeknownst to Pez Thoroughfoot and Tasselhoff, the pocket dimension that opened with a portal key, in this case Pez tooting a fart while making a gesture to get away from Groman the angry dwarf constable. The two Kenders unknowingly provided this fiend with information about the shape-shifting ring that Pez gave to a lady who persuaded him with a confusion and charm spell after the two Kender had found the ring on a body inexplicably stuck in an outhouse pit. The element of the shape-shifting ring spans across many different paths of DragonLance canon extending from AD&D2e to 5th Age and beyond. In the 2e paradigm, LaDonna of the Black Robes, after hiding away an alleged daughter, escaped for a time to the Tower of Northern Urgoth, decided to travel time, just as Raistlin did. Somehow she ended up in the 5th Age paradigm, taking the appearance of a Kender she had abducted in the form of Billy Juniper. She then changes her name to Belladonna and starts mobilizing the afflicted Kender of that era. Bear in mind Malastrix destroys Kendermore, leaving Belladonna being the inexplicable sole survivor who then sent survivors all to Hilo to oust the Windseed family. The Dragons of Destiny series, Destina Arrowthorn used a magic ring to become a Kender as well in order to gain info from Tasselhoff. The shape-shifting ring still remains the element in which Burfoot orbits. The appearance of Gilthanas turning up in Urgoth with vague memory of a Spelljammer abducting him, the Spelljammer crash in Northern Urgoth. The meeting of a Destina Berthelbach, an alternative Destina at Gwynport, the meeting of Astrid Demoris, Tasselhoff's mother, Vorlo, and the human knight who raised Tasselhoff until he was 3, Kaelin Burfoot. The disappearance of Tildon Burfoot, after the Spelljammer he booked passage on was overtaken by an undead ship never to be seen again. Who was Tildon? Is it really a version of Tasselhoff hopping paradigms? His mother said his father got on a ship that came out of the sky, so with the introduction of the contested a magic shape-shifting ring, and the Pocket Universe portal, which led to the introduction of Tasselhoff and Pez involvement, the Fiend then used events to manipulate Tars and Pez, which led to Fizban and Tasselhoff stumbling into Foghaven looking for Tanis and Larana as well as Kaamorn and Tika. These were the events that put them in the realm of dread. This Fiend was indeed Tinfuldus, who after witnessing Kitiara's arrival in barter with Soth was compelled to offer Kitiara a deal. This is where it gets a bit complicated, as Kitiara lies preparing to be dragged off to hell by Soth Hiddical, under persuasion of the Fiend, takes a soul phylactery, and extracts half of Kitiara's soul yoke, leaving Soth none the wiser to drag off what is left to his space within the negative planes. The other half of Kitiara's soul was contained in a black onyx, originally obtained by Soth's first seneschal Caradoc, who went to barter to retrieve it for Soth. In Black Rose's Bloom we are told Caradoc hid the real onyx, somehow took a fake onyx to Sithicus. He then has his ghostly remains eaten by a wolf, who then swallows the onyx and the medallion it sat in. Ticklemop Toothfang kills that wolf and found the amulet thinking she could bargain with Soth. We are told the onyx is still back at the wolf's lair because it shat it, the onyx, out. The PCs are supposed to find the onyx for Soth, but the onyx being fake are not really there. Soth in dismay realizes that he's been duped and unable to obtain the onyx. The explanation is that the version of that medallion which exists in the physical realm is not possessed by Soth so much as the spiritual representation of that object appeared in Sithicus, the real onyx most likely with someone most likely now in Sigil, within the realm of dread. The medallion onyx also had a spectral form. Imagine an object being on one plane and its spiritual counterpart on the other. In Black Rose's Bloom the amulet shatters and the ravens take the pieces away. At this point the author decided to base it on this premise. The ravens take the reassembled amulet to Barovia. Later on, after an encounter with Strahd, Raistlin and Tars are thrown into Sigil. It's there that Raistlin, while being hunted by the many factions of Sigil, finds the actual onyx containing Kitiara's soul and using his arcane knowledge, creates half of a corporeal body for Kitiara to use while they seek to escape Sigil and return to Krynn. Kitiara for all intensive purposes is still partially undead, so she cannot leave Sithicus or the realm of dread without Raistlin afterwards. This is an obvious indignity to Kitiara, as she does not like to be controlled, and certainly not by Raistlin. Kitiara's other yoke half was somehow acquired by the paradigm-hopping Raistlin in barter, possibly through an ordeal with Hiddical and Tinfuldus, meaning Hiddical's coin is involved. No matter, Raistlin prevailed, and somehow the phylactery itself was smuggled back out of the lower planes, brokered for in Sigil, and brought to God's home of Arcadia, or the Soul Forge, it is here to explain to players that the gooder version of Kitiara was born and she was hatched with little memory of whom she was except the memory stones and the advice of Kelendros, Ski, who was now in the form of a humanoid chromatic dragon, with non-evil tendencies. As such, the evil draconians looked like corrupted good dragons. These are opposite of Kelendros is the opposite of this, soft-spoken, articulate, and as such he babysits this younger version of Kit, while they've stayed in Sigil. The dark of this is that innocent Kit herself has been used as means of which Tinfaldus and his fiends, being evil creatures, cannot enter Arcadia or the Soul Forge themselves to nab good Kitiara. However, they seek to use Kitiara as a Trojan horse, later persuading the undead version of Kitiara within the reclaimed bounds of Sithicus, currently run by Raistlin as in the realm of eternal twilight, until evil Kitiara murders Paradigm Raistlin and usurps his claim of Sithicus as the new master, hence changing the realm again. She cannot escape Sithicus or leave the realm of dread until she is whole again. Kitiara will then attempt to use her link with good Kitiara to gain access to God's home, and possibly regain both halves of her essence yoke back once she figures out how to merge herself back with her other self.
Alright, guys, what y'all think of that? Pretty darn cool, huh? Alright, we'll be back here in just a few minutes. Get yourself something to drink, make yourself comfortable. I've got some more stuff here that I can talk about and look at. Just give me a few minutes. But anyway, we'll take a little bit of a break. Okay? We'll be back in a minute, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. Alright, guys, we're back. It just took me a minute or two. Oh, we've been on about 14 minutes. That's not bad. Okay, what was I going to cover here? Oh, take a look at this here. I'll go ahead and show you this while I got it. Guys, I'm probably going to end up having to transition over to YouTube eventually. I don't have enough subscribers yet. Okay, I got about 200. You got to have 500 to go live consistency. I think they'll let you go live for like 30 minutes though on YouTube, so I might start doing that first. I don't know. There's a way they say to build up your audience. I don't know. But anyways, my mother got me this to work on miniatures. Now my eyesight's failing, but she got me a magnifier to use, and this thing is kind of handy because it's got it works like my ring light, as you can see. Wait a minute, there we go. See, you can adjust the light on it, you can adjust the levels and all that. Make it brighter, there you go. See, oh shit, well, you can, well, hell, as soon as I can, there it goes. See, I can swift the light. There we go. But I ordered that. But this thing, it's got stuff that you can, to hold the damn, you can paint miniatures with it. So, I'm blind as a fucking bat. So, this might help me a little bit. I ordered some DragonLance miniatures. And I don't know, though, if they're going to come in and looking really well. But, they might. I don't know. I don't know if you can see that or not, guys. But anyways, yeah, I got a miniature there. That might help me a little bit because I'm blind as a bat. But like I said, I'm having trouble with small detail. But no, it ain't too bad. I can see some of the little specks and flecks. They cover these miniatures with these weird shit. I don't know. I'm still not sure if I'm going to open this one up at all. I ought to. I was going to use this one as my Dalamar eventually, probably. We'll see. Okay. Oh, what was I going to... All right. If y'all ain't figured it out, that is a spoiler. When I go to post that version to YouTube, I will make sure to warn you all that that is a spoiler alert so that it doesn't spoil the half of the plot for you guys. Now, most of that, I do not have written the part with Taz or Raceland and Sigil. That has yet to be written. The part with Tanis and Lorana meeting Strahd, that has yet to be written. There's a lot of that stuff that has not been written specifically for that purpose. Okay? I don't know what I want to do with it. Like I said, I was going to make a module out of it. I've been treated it as OGL content for you guys, okay? If I'm not around to be able to do something with it, maybe somebody else will. As of right now, I found out, I didn't know it, but they have not renewed the, I don't know if it's they haven't reprinted the Chronicles or Legends for DragonLance. There have been no reprints. And, they don't know as maybe Random House will issue it in the UK. Well, Penguin Books is issuing it in the UK because they got publishing rights. But Random House isn't currently doing anything, or at least not Wizards of the Coast, because anything Dragonlance they have to cut Wizards of the Coast in on. And Wizards of the Coast is pissed off at them right now, and that's why the book is under Random House Worlds. But like I said, guys, that book, it comes out on August 6, 2024. Go to Mysterious Galaxies. Go to Margaret Weiss's website and Tracy's website. Support them. Go buy some book plates. Support it. I don't care. Just buy it. Show fucking Watsy what the fuck's up. Alright? I'm going to go ahead and buy a copy of it anyway. I know, like I said, I'm somewhat lukewarm on it. But, like I said, I'm going to do it because it's fucking Dragonlance. Alright? I want to see this shit improve. And the only way that we're going to do it is, you know, at least being a little bit positive. Okay? It may not, everybody might not have the same aesthetic concerning their Dragonlance. Okay? I understand that. Alright? There's a lot of people who do not like the 2e stuff. Okay? There's people who are only familiar with 5th edition. And really, there wasn't anything offered for 5th edition. So you're kind of up in the air about that. But it's okay. It's not a big deal. Like I said, there's no right or wrong way. It doesn't make it wrong. It just makes it different. Okay? Please keep that in mind. I'm trying as hard as possible, guys, with all the division and bullshit on social media, to not be that person. Okay? We've got way too much fucking vitriol and hate and shit. And there's a lot of people that are using the tabletop RPG platform to use that as a segue to fuck with people. Okay? They're making, you know, just because somebody's political ideology doesn't mesh with theirs, now they're going to start fucking rimming them in the asshole. Okay? That as an bullshit. I'm sorry, but I'm just not fucking participating. But like I said, guys, give everybody 2%. Stick to your own, and you do you. Okay? If you can't tolerate them, get the fuck away from them. That's all I can tell you. You're going to run into people in your life that you're not going to get along with or who don't like you. And that's not a mark on you. You need to just keep moving and keep going, okay? Doing it, treat others as you would like to be treated. Of course, there are people who are complete sadists that like to literally live for the shit. I don't know. But those people are few and far in between. The idea is to stay the fuck away from those people. People that use the microaggressions and all that, those people, don't let them waste your time like that. Okay, before I forget, I want to give a shout out to the Star Gamer 1238 who followed about 12 days ago. If he didn't give you a shout out, I also want to give a shout out to anybody else that may have followed. Yes, guys, I am here. You can see me. I'm on camera. I just got it tilted toward this way. Like I said, I'm as ugly as hell. What was I going to do? Oh, I was going to talk about Thaco. Now, I did a whole paper. It's a little bit long, okay? But I'm going to be real honest with you guys, okay? I felt like a complete dumbass because I did not know I knew there were 2 methods of Thaco, but I didn't know that there was more than 2, okay? There's actually about 3. The Beckme version, not Beckme, I forget what the fuck they call that, the basic version. Yeah, it's basic, not Beckme. Well, the fuck I was thinking Beckme. But anyway, the original version of, let me see if I can find my fucking Dungeon Master's Guide or Player's Handbook, and I'll tell you what I'm talking about. Okay. Let me find Thaco. Come on. Alright. Thaco, when it's being introduced, it's not necessarily making the DM's job any easier. And I'll tell you why, depending on how you're using it. Okay? The 2nd edition method, the reason why they do that and they just go ahead and tell you the armor class, or is if you're playing with seasoned players, okay, it's okay to do that. But if you want to keep the Fog of War aspect, okay, to that Thaco roll, what you'll do as a player is you'll calculate your Thaco number, which is divided by your level and weapon and all that. You'll have your modifiers, right? Okay? And then he takes the AC. He don't tell you the AC. He subtracts that from the Thaco number, and then he tells you if you hit it. Okay? So he rolls, and then he tells you if you hit it. That's behind his screen. That's the DM behind the DM screen. See, that's what was so fucking confusing about when I first started playing this. I didn't understand that method, and it got even more confusing is when the Dungeons & Dragons basic set and the first quest set, it explains Thaco, but the methods of doing it are completely different. They don't even look the same. Okay, hold on just a second here and let me... Yeah, here it is. Okay. You know, you remember figuring the 2 heck roll, okay? You subtract your Thaco, okay? And then see it modified to 12 by strength and 11 by his weapon. That's his modified Thaco. And then he had to subtract that from 6, which was the armor class of the Orc. So it meant that he had to roll a 5 or higher on a 1d20. And most of the time, same thing. Oh, no. Okay, let me back up here. Okay. The contact in the table, all right. You have to understand that once TSR did their re-release in 83, they wanted to get away from Gygax and Arneson's mechanics as much as possible. And so to avoid paying them royalties, let me find it. Okay, here it is. Let me find it. Let me get it. It is here it is. me get my basic set out so I don't drop it in the damn floor. I'm trying not to knock this fucking camera off. End up beating and banging and knocking shit off all the damn time. Okay, there we go, guys. All right, let's start with the classic Dungeons and Dragons set. All right, I don't want to follow apology, I guess, but what was so misleading about that one Thaco video was that he used the logo for the Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd Edition. The method, however, that he describes was originally... See, that's what was so confusing about that. I saw a video on YouTube here not too long ago. He was using the Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd Edition logo to explain Thaco, but what he was actually explaining was the Dungeons & Dragons, that was the re-release in '94, its version of doing Thaco. And it's a little bit ass backwards, too, because you calculate it lower or above, I do believe. Hold on a minute. Let me pull it up. I'll see. All right, Thaco. Here it is. Okay, this is really weird. Okay, guys. How they describe this. All right. Okay, yeah. Finally, the Defender's armor class is added to the roll. Okay? Whenever the fighter attacks, okay, say he's got a Thaco of 19, he rolls a d20 as usual. Now, that's the Thaco minus die roll. Okay? All right, he rolls a d20 as usual. Then any combat markers are added to that, like bonuses. And finally, the AC, okay, is added to that by the DM. If the total is above the fighter's Thaco of 19, a hit is scored. Note that negative armor classes will be subtracted from the roll, making them harder to hit. I'll go a little bit more over that later on, but like I said, guys, there's more than one way to calculate the Thaco, and the reasoning for that was, the reason why there were so many methods of Thaco, they were trying to get away from Arneson and Gygax's version of that, and as they were transitioning over to 2nd Edition, that's what they wanted to do. But like I said, a lot of players had a problem with Thaco because they didn't understand that, and me, I fell prey to this too. They didn't understand that you weren't supposed to tell the players the armor class. See, the DM kept all that shit to himself. That's what the DM screen's there for. Okay, so to keep the fog of war aspect, what you will do is, if you're going to use the Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd Edition way of doing it, you calculate your player's Thaco, okay? And then your DM, see, I don't see why the fuck I just can't go ahead. Well, you know, normally, if you just roll a die and then subtract it yourself, that's doing it anyway. If your DM's too fucked up to fucking roll, and he's like, fuck it. You all are going to do your fucking math and shit, and don't cheat. You know, hell, why don't you let the DM knock back a couple of beers for a change once in a while? But anyway, to keep the fog of war aspect, he subtracts that, and then he looks at the table and tells you if it hits. Simple as that. Okay, guys. We'll go ahead and knock this out. I think this is a good little segment to impart to YouTube. Once again, guys, I want to thank you all for tuning in. It has been a wonderful time. If we don't see each other in the near future, like I said, get interested in Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd Edition. Get invested in DragonLance. If you don't read any DragonLance books at all, guys, get a hold of this one book, okay? If you don't read any of the other DragonLance books at all, this right here, okay? This book. Dragons of Autumn Twilight. Okay, if you don't read any other Dragonlance book, just read this one. For sakes. And Soul Forge if you want to make Margaret Weiss happy. Read her Raceland stuff. Most of the stuff that Margaret Weiss puts out is good. Okay? I can't really complain, but like I said, Raceland was not really my character. Okay? My focus was mostly on Tasselhoff. Okay, given my history with the character of Raceland, you know, me and Henry and all that. So, that's where that comes from, guys. Alright, guys. Yeah, one last time, we'll give you a look here at my nerd room. Like I said, guys, I don't know if they're going to continue the thing for the Twitch thing much longer. So I may be on a different platform here pretty soon. But like I said, stay subscribed to my Twitch. It still works. I use it for my Xbox. Just like I said, I don't know if I'll be streaming the PC games when they get rid of the studio. I'll have to figure out how to get it back up and running. But if I'm a smart boy and I get a new rig up and a new computer and get that going by fall, we'll be okay. But like I said, I'm going to use what I got. I can always go over to YouTube, and once they let me go live, I'll be okay. Okay? I'll figure something out, guys. I always have. All right, guys. I hope y'all enjoyed that segment, and we'll get a hold of you a little bit later. Stop by my Twitter feed. Say hi if you want to. Remember, it's adults only. Stop by my Instagram. It's Engine Joe, what you know. Give me a holler there. All right, guys. You be good. This is Engine Joe. Roll on. Yeah, buddy. It is, it is, it is. Thank you, guys.